West Asia has lost $270 billion last year in oil revenue, $270 billion, thanks to the pandemic. For Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil exporter in the world, the drop in oil revenues has left a big hole in its budget. The kingdom expected its budget deficit to soar to around $79 billion last year. The timing couldn't have been better for Saudi Arabia to pivot to a future without oil. Riyadh is now planning a major economic overhaul with investments worth $3.2 trillion. Our next report tells you more.
The Gulf's oil empire is on a slippery slope. Oil revenues in West Asia and North Africa have dropped by almost half in the last decade. From $1 trillion in 2012 to $575 billion in 2019. The pandemic has only accelerated the end of the oil boom. Saudi Arabia wants to turn this crisis into an opportunity. Riyadh is planning a pivot away from oil through a major cash injection.
As we already announced, earlier this year, the Public Investment Fund will pump in 3 trillion riyals in new investments until 2030, in addition to 4 trillion riyals that will be injected under the National Investment Strategy, and its details will be announced soon.
Saudi Arabia plans to pump in $3.2 trillion into its economy by 2030. In an effort to jumpstart its economy after the pandemic. A large part of the cash infusion will be funded by 24 of the kingdom's biggest companies, from energy giant Aramco to petrochemical firm Sabic. The rest of the cash will come from the Public Investment Fund, Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, and a new national investment strategy that Riyadh hopes will create thousands of new jobs, strengthen private sector and boost economic growth. These investments are much needed. The pandemic came as a shock to Saudi Arabia's economy, forcing Riyadh to triple the value-added tax, or VAT, and suspend a monthly allowance to civil servants. These measures were necessary to rein in a growing deficit. Since 2014, Saudi Arabia has posted a budget deficit every year, even after tightening its belt. In December last year, Riyadh projected a budget deficit of $79 billion. The bigger challenge is unemployment. It touched a record high of 15.4% last year. Now it has improved to 13%. A little more than 7% of Saudi men are jobless, while almost 25% of Saudi women are without a job. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is now trying to reshape his country's economy. He has come up with a $7 trillion plan for the next decade. This includes major government spending commitments for revival. With the pandemic accelerating the pivot away from oil, Riyadh doesn't have easy choices. Bureau Report, WION. World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.